You
Yeah.
have this fleet of supercars with unlimited potential working for you as your fingertips. That's how powerful we are. It's not about our physical body, it's the magnetic field we give out around our body that determines how we work, the behaviors, the chemical reactions inside our body. It's absolutely fascinating. Never miss a sunrise in the rest of your life.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Thrive. It's your host, Karli, and I am joined by an incredible guest today who I've been so excited to have a beautiful conversation about holistic health and quantum empowerment. I'm joined by Alison Davis today. Alison is a trailblazer in the field of holistic health and quantum empowerment. She's a certified health coach and founder of the Glow Academy. She helps people to unlock vibrant health and true well-being by mastering the power within and connecting to the healing forces of nature. So welcome, Alison.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're so welcome. I feel like we're going to have a really beautiful conversation. I feel like we're very aligned in particularly the quantum aspects of what we're going to talk about today. But I'm really excited to dive into some of the holistic health stuff as well, because we know what it's like. We're running a business, we're looking after families and doing all of the things. For so many women in particular, I say women because it's mainly women who listen to the podcast, our health gets put on the back burner, doesn't it? You would probably know that in your experience as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like we're going to have a really important conversation here. So tell us a little bit about who you are, and you can answer this in whatever way you like, because I know it's such a big question. Who are you? How has your sort of journey into this work unfolded?
I've been a auditing professional for my entire career. I always actually thought my job as an auditor is really not very useful, because if you're a teacher, if you're a plumber, you can actually use those skills in real life. And I always thought, what's so useful about auditing skill? I get my husband into trouble all the time by auditing him. But 8 years ago, when I was sitting in the office of my doctor, and who gave me the diagnosis of postnatal depression, that really hit me hard. And then I realized the reason I've been doing my auditing for my entire career was absolutely the right path for me. In the auditing world, this is all about root cause analysis. Of course, my doctor was trying to prescribe me antidepressants. That's when I put my audit hat on and asked question why. And I realized in the last 8 years, I was on the biggest root cause analysis. Why I became ill. I was eating pretty well and doing all the exercises, but why I felt so ill after giving birth to my first son, which is the happiest moment in my life. That's the beginning of my quest, why I became so ill. He was asking me to take the medicine, and because everyone's doing it, and I asked, okay, is that going to take my stress away? He said no. And I turned around and with all of the side effects, I said, no, I'm not going to take this because it doesn't take the root cause away. So what I did is went on the 8 years journey of finding happiness. That's where I started. I was really sick and I couldn't thinking properly. Depression, right? Anxiety, and also coupled with insomnia. I couldn't sleep. Not long after that, my marriage also got problems. It was just a hammer after hammer. But that's when I really got into myself, because there's nothing else in the world I can hold on to. There's only place I have to go in is inside. And asking those questions, I just got into this path of understanding who we truly are, what make us tick. Quantum biology, that's really the place I went in really deep. I don't know why. I think that's my destiny. For someone who even not having the English as a first language, and I was looking into the dictionaries, trying to figure out what they're talking about. I have no idea, but I never stopped learning about who we are. And that went down to the depths of atoms. What I learned in that 8 years is that we've been programmed to rely on the external assistance like food, supplements, exercise, and all of the things trying to make us fit and healthy again. But that's not where the keys are being held. The key is inside of us, and
Yeah.
also as a cell of nature. And we are given with everything that we need to live extraordinary life. But somewhere along the way, we forgot about that. I went onto a journey of remembering who we are. So that's a nutshell. What I discovered is the power within us and the healing force of nature. I don't go to the doctors nowadays
Yeah.
because I'm in control of my health and I have all of this healthcare around me in Mother Nature. So it's beautiful.
Absolutely. And I was watching one of your videos, or maybe I saw one of your pictures the other day of this beautiful garden that you have
Yeah.
at your home. And I was like, oh, that's just so beautiful. But you're right. We have all of the answers within us and all of this beautiful abundance of nature around us. And
Mm.
I find it really interesting that we do tend to, we're like this, we've been programmed as a society these days to go outside of us to look for the answers, to go to the doctors and put a band-aid over the problem, which I'm no expert here, but often in my experience, I've seen that then cause other problems down the track. As you said,
Yeah.
it doesn't address the root cause.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just love what you do so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I see actually our life as a combination of two parts.
Yeah.
It's the creation part and also the experience part. The creation is something you really resonate with. It's a manifestation. I'm a gardener, right? I like to use this analogy of gardening, how you bring this idea into existence through manifestation. If you want to plant an apple tree, you need to have the right apple seed. You get a blueberry, you won't get apples, right? So it's
Exactly.
like sitting in the power of the intention, what we really want. And some people will think, okay, I want to have a apple, right, in the next year or so. But some people see it's a forest of apples because every seed can generate so many apples, right? So this is how we see the potential in every idea. Once you have this idea, you put it into the field of infinite possibility or use the soil of your mind. And
Yes.
then that's why you bring this idea into existence, the germination, right? Actually, sometimes we become a little bit impatient. Oh, this is going to work. What if it doesn't germinate? What if it's the wrong seed to plant? We give this so much doubt, but nature knows best, right? It's
Yeah.
infinite possibilities out there can bring any possibility into our life. Sometimes we just need to get out of the way, let the process does the wonder itself. I can speak this because as a new beginner a couple of years ago, I have the same doubt. Oh my gosh, is this seed going to germinate? It probably is going to die. Maybe the seed is too old. But
Yeah.
now I know I have total faith. I put it in there, they will germinate without fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So that's the creation part. We bring this idea into germination. But once the seed, your idea is germinated into this beautiful 3D world and is subject to other laws, it's no longer quantum realm, it's the physical realm. It's all about light, water, magnetism. It's coming back to the conditions that actually make the seed thrive. Same as our body, our health. If you don't give the right environment, doesn't matter how beautiful, how much potential that seed you have, you're not going to harvest it. I know this from firsthand evidence because the first year of Food Forest, we had so much expectations and all of that. And then the cyclone hit, flood hit, and an army worm invasion came. Lots of crops lost because they didn't have the right conditions. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the part of the experience process, right? Now you created your beautiful life. And
Yeah.
if you really want to enjoy it and fully experience that creation, we have to make the environment right for us to thrive. For health, if we need to go back to the hospital all the time, what's the point having all of those great creations, right? You can't enjoy them.
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that so much. And I really resonate with what you said about planting the seed and having worked with a lot of people around manifestation for some time now. What I see a lot of people do is they plant the seed, but then they don't trust it. They don't have faith. So they're constantly going and checking the seed or digging it up to make sure that the seed's still there.
Maybe that's why they're not germinating, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I have been there myself too. So I totally get that. But when we understand it a little bit deeper, we can trust that when we plant that seed, as long as it's in the right conditions, we can trust that seed is going to germinate, is going to grow, it's going to bring the fruits that we desire. So that
Absolutely.
self-trust piece, that trust in ourselves and in the quantum, in the universe is so important, isn't it?
Yeah. So another way to say it is like a faith, right?
Yes.
Think about how those the airplanes, how they were created. There's
Mm-hmm.
no evidence before they're created. There's no evidence it's going to work, right?
Yeah,
But how they make this into the existence of our life today is because they have this unstoppable faith that's going to work.
that's so
Everything.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of people as well, they're looking for evidence, but they're not looking for the evidence that it's going to work. They're seeing the evidence that, oh, it hasn't worked in the past before. So
Yeah.
why is it going to be different this time? Or it's all about our programming and our beliefs, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't believe that this is going to work, so it's not going to work. So when we can sort of
Yeah.
shift our views and our beliefs and our thoughts around, that's so powerful as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
sometimes the best thing happen when there's no evidence. Example, the
100%.
light bulbs like Edison invented, there's no evidence before,
Yeah,
right? Because that was the first. And
exactly.
he probably have the evidence of 1,000 times trying that didn't work. So
Yep.
opposite to the evidence that's going to work.
Yep.
But you're right, Kali. I think the this faith, the trust is absolutely important in this creation process. Without trust, yeah, we're gonna give up, right? It's gonna,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And that's where our dreams die, isn't it? Is when we give up.
Yeah,
As long as we can hold that faith, then
yeah.
one thing, like I will always say, is your success is inevitable as long as you don't give up, as long as you keep going.
Oh, I love that. Your
Thing.
success is inevitable.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
that's something need to be tweeted.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that later. But it's so true. The
But
only way that I firmly believe the only way that we're not successful is if we stop and if we stop trying.
yeah, the limitation is in our mind.
And it's always in our mind, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing outside of us that's stopping. And this is where we come back to going within for the answers. It's always within us. But again, so often we're looking to doctors and medication for our health. We're looking to coaches and more information. If I just get this next piece, then I'm going to be complete. Whereas everything is
Yeah,
firmly
yeah.
believed.
And I think the best doctor, pharmacy, and healthcare is already within us.
Yeah.
But we like to look at the wrong places, right? We have to go out. I think this is my first biggest breakthrough,
Mm-hmm.
and I will never forget about it. I was walking on the beach
Mm-hmm.
and then listening to a podcast. It's TD Jake, I think. He was saying, your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world.
Yes.
And I heard this many times, but that day just somehow it clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was crying. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's not about my in-laws or not about my circumstances, not about my boss. It's all about me.
Yeah.
Right? It's absolutely life-changing
I
when we
agree.
really just figure out what really was the source of the reality, right? We
Yeah.
created through our own thinking.
Absolutely agree with you there. So you mentioned earlier in the chat, you mentioned the term quantum biology. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means? Because I'm sure that there are some listeners who are like, oh, quantum biology, that sounds really interesting. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I love it. Quantum biology is, it's like a buzzing word, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's really simple to understand. If I use an analogy, I love using analogies.
Yeah.
Think about if your car breaks down, right? What do you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't know anything about mechanics. I would take it to a mechanic, right? So this mechanic will check the engine, the battery, and the electrical system
Mm-hmm.
so they can fix the problem. Do they often tell us to fill it with better fuel and drive it more often, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They
Mm-hmm.
actually look at the root cause of the problem. Maybe the way we see health should be same. We generally like to give us some better food or more exercise, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the core. Quantum biology is like a skilled mechanic. We are looking into very deep level in our body how our cells work. once you understand how cells work together, your health will be eventually just reflected out in the outside. I like this car analogy because all your cells, except your red blood cells, is like a car. The cell has an engine, which is called a mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cells, and it has a battery, which is the water that produces the mitochondria. That's they call it easy water or structured water that powered everything in our biology. And then it has a communication system. That's all the cellular communication and tunneling, all of this.
Yes.
So it's like a car, but it's not just any car. Our cells are like the finest quality supercars equipped with quantum computer, because we have this quantum computer that in our mind that can actually do everything that we want. We are special cars, and you have 37 trillions of them.
What?
Just think about how powerful you are.
Yeah.
You have this fleet of supercars with unlimited potential working for you.
Yeah.
As your fingertips. That's how powerful we are. So quantum biology is looking at the cellular level, how we work. Everything in life will be explained. Like we, humans, plants, animals, and even Earth, we're all the same. The principles are all the same because we're all made of atoms, right?
Yeah.
Atoms connect together, they bond together, they become cells, molecules, cells, and tissues, organs, and then they become who we are. Atoms is the fundamental element of the universe. Everything we see and interact in life is made of atoms. And then the quantum biology look at the deepest level, at the cellular level, to see how we work. It's very fascinating. Sometimes I feel like I'm a nerd. And
I love this stuff too.
I love this stuff. The first time I look at the how atom work, it's very fascinating. Like in the middle of the atom is a mass, like matter. So let's just think about our body. And inside the nuclear of the atom, there is protons and neutrons. Like think about that's our organ, right? But that's not all of it. We are not just that mass and matter. What controls that mass is the electron clouds outside the atom. Think of that like the magnetic field around us. So our brain and our heart, they can actually test this through the EKG and the EEG machine and measure your electromagnetic field. So that's actually the key to health, because how you interact with the infinite energy from that field determines how our body works.
Wow.
So I went into this very absolutely fascinating cycle from disconnect from the external world. So I go in, but also I go out. It's like this cycle. It's not about our physical body. It's the magnetic field we give out around our body that determines how we work, the behaviors, the chemical reactions inside our body. It's absolutely fascinating. That's how atom works. That's how everything works.
My gosh, it's so interesting, isn't it?
Interesting, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think that our bodies are just physical and that's just it, right? And then we have emotions and feelings that are in our mind, but that's not the case, right? We're just so much more, aren't we?
That's what we see is only 1% of this whole existence.
Oh,
so do we focus on the right part? No, where's that 99%? Right? This is the energy.
It's all energy, isn't it? And so let's look at what are some of the things that you really help people with when it comes to either understanding their own quantum or quantum biology as a whole. What are some things that you typically see that people want help with? What are the areas in their life that they're wanting to improve, and how do you help them? Or what are even like a couple of things that you would suggest to people that they can do in order to really embrace this and embody this?
Yeah, so a great question. It's actually quantum biology sounds complicated, but drill down, it's all about back to nature inside out. It's really actually simple. I'll never ever forget the first time I listened to one of the most instrumental mentors, Dr. Jack Kruse. He's absolutely pioneer in this light water magnetism. I love him because he's got this insane curiosity. He has to understand how things work. He's been going on this root cause analysis like a million times bigger than me. So
Right.
I learned so much from him. And I remember first time listening to him 8 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and all he's talking about, I have no idea. I completely don't understand, right? At that stage. But at the end of the interview, the host asked him, okay, if the listeners can take one thing away from this to transform their house, what would that be?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, never miss a sunrise
Wow.
in the rest of your life.
Really?
So at that moment, I was quite sick, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't do all the things I want to do. And I thought, okay, I can do that. Watching
Mm-hmm.
sunrise, it's not too difficult. So since then, that was 8 years ago, I really missed the sunrise.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's so much absolutely science in that uh, morning sunlight, especially from the sunrise to transition to UVA light. It's about 10 a.m. here. That light is absolutely irreplaceable in human biology because it's
Really?
rich in red light.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes people don't want to go in the sun because they worry about getting burned?
Mm-hmm.
That's because they haven't exposed to the morning sun enough. If they do, they will have very well conditioned their skin to handle the UV light later on.
I see.
Yeah, so this invisible light, how we talk about energy, everything that actually work wonders or govern our life is that invisible part, the UV light and the infrared. They are absolutely so key in our biology. If we can get those two lights right in our life,
Mm-hmm.
we probably will have lots of the diseases or illness go away.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so when he says don't miss like a sunrise, does that sort of mean go out and watch the entire sun come up or spend 10 minutes out there? What's sufficient?
Yeah, I guess that depends on your health status. The more health problems you have, the more you need to be exposed because your body has been craving for this for a long time, right? So you probably want to spend a little bit more time at the beginning to actually reset the circadian rhythm and also your cells, they were not working really right before. Now you need to give them some of this push to start working. Think about a broken car. You can't actually get anywhere until you fix the little problem so they can driving around. When I was really sick then, if you asked me to think possibly, I would probably punch your face
Yeah.
because I couldn't. Because I was a broken car, you want me to go into a race. That's completely
Yeah.
impossible. I need to start fixing my problem so I can move
Yeah.
so I can actually discover my full potential, right? So that's what morning sunlight is so fundamental to our health. But so many of us not doing that. How many sunrises have we before knowing Dr. Jack Cruz? I don't even know when sunrise because I was busy working at night, and
Yeah.
the last thing I would do is watch sunrise because it's so early.
Mhm. Absolutely. And so then what about the evening sun when the sun is setting? Does that have a similar impact or it's the sunrise that we really want to be?
Yeah, sunrise is beautiful because it sets your day, get
True.
you flying, almost like a navigation of your life in this day. You can navigate and get to where you want to go. The sunset is also important because that's the winding down light.
Yeah.
So sets you into the mood of relaxation so you can sleep better,
Yeah.
relax and just wind down at that
Mhm.
time of the day. If you can do both sunrise and sunset, you'll be a champion. And
Amazing.
another thing is because we are beings of light, so
Mhm.
another people probably won't pay too much attention to is the wrong light. We talk about the processed food, but we
Mhm.
don't normally talk about processed light. Your cell phones, computers, iPads, even Wi-Fi, mobile networks, they all man-made unnatural light. When this type of light giving the signal to our cells inside our body. Think about it, it's almost like you have 30 trucks coming in the same time. It's
Yeah,
going to be chaotic, right?
absolutely.
So that's what the signal we have been giving to our cells. And I can actually feel those cells because, oh my gosh, I'm going to left, to right, up and down at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to work really well.
No. So what are some ways that we can manage that? In this world, we use our screens a lot, don't we? We're always on
Yeah,
our phones. And so what are some ways that we can manage that use of that sort of
yeah.
light?
Yeah. So there's many ways. For me, I don't actually go on screen after sunset because,
Amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I have to look after myself first and then everything else because we're the source of our reality, right? So
Yes.
I don't go on screen. I'll do everything before then.
That's great.
And after the sunset is relaxation time, spending time with your children and story time and all of those. But if you have to, there are blue blocking glasses. Oh, I'll show you. So this is when I use it, I put this on. So
Yeah.
that will block all the green and blue light.
Okay. And
Yeah,
that's the
so
light that's, yeah, that's not great for us. So that sort of
yeah,
blocks that light. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Amazing. I love that.
yeah.
Is that the same with like TV as well? Is that the same kind of light that comes from that as our cell phones?
Yeah, now you have the smart TV. They are fed in Wi-Fi's, but we
Mm,
don't have that. The older TV probably less,
yeah.
but with the technology advancing
Yeah.
and all of this light becoming almost our everyday life.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's the Iris software you can download to your computer. You can dim the light into orange. Yeah, and I guess another way is just not going on the screen,
Yeah.
right? Take technology detox at night. I know sometimes it's very hard, but once you try it, since you can feel the benefits, you will never go back.
Really?
Yeah. How you feel is absolutely worlds different.
Yeah. I know for me sometimes being a mum, and it's probably less these days now because my daughter's at school, but when she was home with me, I would always save like all of my work until the nighttime. She'd go to
Yeah.
bed and then 7:30, I'm on my phone or I'm on my computer doing my work.
Mm.
But it's probably not quite so bad now. But yeah, maybe I can start using my evenings for reading or something like that.
Yeah. And meditation, right?
Meditation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in summer it's easier
Yeah.
because the daylight is much longer here. I'm from Auckland.
Yeah.
The daylight is still here at 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's going to get like that here soon as well. Like it's probably still
Yeah,
daylight around 8 now, but it will
yeah,
start to get a bit longer, which is
yeah. So maybe do more work in summer.
yeah, 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 that's so true. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point. And what about, I have seen people as well that use like red light in their homes as well. Is
Mm.
that something that you do as well? Is it red light?
We have red light at night, just and navigating. So
Yeah,
we built this house based on Jack Cruse's principle
amazing.
teachings. It's a nearly zero EMF. We don't have Wi-Fi in this house. We use Ethernet cable. Everything's hardwired. Actually, it's
Amazing.
faster. I don't know why people do
Yeah,
that. It's
it
much
is faster.
faster. Yeah, yeah. So many things we can do. Last house we built was a wooden floor, but this time we intentionally choose polished concrete floor because concrete
Mm,
floor is in contact with the earth. It's
yes.
always grounded. Oh, one of the best things we can do is grounding.
Yeah.
When we touch, of course, bare feet, when we touch the surface of earth, I just feel like instant peace and calm.
Yeah.
And watching sunrise give me the same emotion. I feel like so emotional. Sometimes just want to have a little cry, but it's happy cry.
Beautiful.
Um, yeah, so I think it's something about nature when we're really connected to, I know because it's a magnetic field. Schumann resonance of the earth is
Yeah.
7.83 hertz.
Yeah.
It's our brain is operated on that. The relaxation state of the brain wave is also 7.83 hertz. When we align with the heartbeat of the Mother Earth,
Mhm.
I feel everything like it's so charged up inside of me.
Yeah.
I call beach is my charge station. So
Mine too. I get to the beach as often as I possibly can and just
yeah,
take my shoes off. I don't care what time of year it is. I don't care if it's hot or cold. Yeah, do that as much as I possibly can. And I always do feel that real connectedness and that sense of home, that sense of peace
mm,
in a way.
yeah,
I'd love to as well just talk about the EMF because we were having this conversation just before we started recording, and I was sharing with Alison that I've had this funny thing in my ear lately and it's been like a little bit blocked every now and then. And she asked me, she was like, have you been using headphones lately? And I was like, I have, and only probably for the last week or so, which is how long since I've been having this thing happening with my ear. And Alison, you mentioned that it could be like effects from EMF. Could you share a little bit about that as well, and maybe some ways that we can manage that? Because again, we're all, a lot of the women in particular listening to this podcast are running businesses. We're surrounded by all of the EMF stuff all day. So how can we overcome that as well?
Yeah, if you live in the very high population density areas, sometimes it's very hard to avoid.
I live in an apartment building as well. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
you receive the Wi-Fi signals from your neighbor. Yeah. Something you can do is turn off your Wi-Fi at night,
Yeah.
because the sleeping time is the time your body rejuvenate, repair, and rest. So the best time to give the best environment to our body is the sleeping time at night. If you can start from turning the Wi-Fi off, moving away from the bedroom, that will actually make a big difference.
Yeah. I use my phone for everything, so that's where my data is. But if I put it onto flight mode, I'm sure that I would notice a difference.
Yeah, yeah. So if
Yeah.
you listen to a podcast and you can download them and
Yeah.
put it on flight mode, you can still use the headphone, but there's no electromagnetic fields coming through to your brain.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I
Yeah.
know that I've seen, like in the past, I've never actually bought any. I know some people talk about different crystals and EMF blockers or something. Like, are there any things that we can be using in our homes, or is it just manage the Wi-Fi, try and stay away from it?
Yeah, I think Wi-Fi is one big part. We can manage it. And other products, I haven't seen any scientific proof how they work. I want to share this with you. Our office now is grounded because, and also when I'm sleeping, I'm grounded. But I don't want to buy those products because as soon as you plug into a power socket, that means you are trusting the power grid. That
Yeah.
we build our own house, we make sure everything's wired properly. But if you go somewhere else, I don't know. I like things that non-electrical.
Yeah.
What I did when I sleep, this sounds quite fun. I just put a steel post I use in my garden,
Yeah.
turn it into the soil,
Yeah.
the earth outside of my bedroom, and then I wrapped copper wire to the steel post, and the other end I wrap around my ankle, so I sleep. Same thing from my office. Outside is the lawn, the earth. So
Yeah.
I put a wrap around the steel post with the copper wire, and right now I'm standing on it.
That's
It's, I'll show
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
It's nothing fancy, just like this. It's a pile of copper wire.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I stand on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm grounded.
that's
This is the
amazing.
same as standing on the grass outside.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's
I
incredible.
never shared this before because it doesn't look very sexy.
Sharing. We're here for all the non-sexy things and the sexy things. That's
Um,
incredible. That's really cool.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I try to be resourceful. I don't
Yeah,
like to use too many man-made products because I don't know how they make them. I,
exactly.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
that's amazing.
anything is not natural, just make me think. One thing I always ask myself
Mhm.
is how does nature do it? In any situations when I'm in doubt, I will always ask myself, how does nature do this?
Amazing. Oh my God.
Generally, I'll have the right answer for it.
Yeah, of course. So we've talked about, some of the things that we can really do to transform our health. We've talked about the light. We've talked about grounding. Is there one more thing that you would love to share with us before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I think it's the blue light.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's everywhere in our screen and also in our home lighting, in everything.
Hmm.
If we can reduce, especially after sunset, we human are running on this dark and light cycle. When the sun goes down, we're supposed to rest and rejuvenate. But now we tend to light our home up, live in this man-made light, and
Yeah.
our cells think, okay, I need to actually wake up because it's telling me it's midday, but I'm supposed to go to sleep right now. I'm so confused. We follow this light awake cycle.
Hmm.
That's what our ancestors used to do before all of this lighting, all of this technology. They only have the moon and the fire. But
Yes.
now we have so much more. We like giving ourselves really confusing light signals. So
Mm.
avoiding blue light, watching
Hmm.
sunrise, spend time outside in the morning from sunrise to 10 a.m. and
Yeah.
then ground, make sure with barefoot. That's the three things I'd love everyone to try out.
Yeah, I will be. Absolutely. I am going to even try just tonight not to have my screens on after the sun goes down, and I will be sure to report back.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's some really powerful small things that don't cost money, not incredibly challenging to implement. I think that's something that we can all do. And I'm sure we'll all notice like some small changes in how we're feeling as well.
Yeah.
So
The best solution is always the simplest.
that's always the way, isn't it? Yet we're
Yeah.
programmed by society to believe that we need to go and buy products and we need to do all of these ridiculous things when really we don't. So I love
Yeah.
that. I love that you are helping people like bring it back to the simplicity. Simplicity maybe is not the right word, bringing it back to what we have within us, within ourselves. Yes, it's
Absolutely.
very powerful work that you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation. I love your
Yeah.
energy, Karli. You're absolutely adorable. And maybe
Oh, you're beautiful. I love that. I love that so much. I love to be adorable. So this was amazing. And can you let our listeners know where can they find you if they'd love to know more about what you do?
yeah, they can find me on my website, alisondavisglows.com,
Beautiful.
and or my Facebook, Alison Davis. They should be able to find me there.
Absolutely. And I'll make sure that I link them in the notes for everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a fascinating conversation. I absolutely loved it.
It's been wonderful. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.